Hey everyone, this is Kirk here again at Option Alpha. So today I wanted to go through a really important concept called the mind versus the fool. And just by sheer luck, I'm actually publishing this on April Fool's Day. This was not pre-planned in advance. In fact, I just woke up this morning and I was like, I should really do this video. But it is April Fool's Day. I promise you, this is not an April Fool's joke. It's actually very serious. And it's a really important concept, one that I think is truly one of the most important secrets to trading that I found, which is this concept of the mind versus the fool. So the first thing I'll say is, let me just ask you this question, just to kind of get your mind working, which is, what is your trading strategy? And if your trading strategy looks something similar to this or kind of resembles this, which is that you just kind of have sticky notes everywhere, maybe paper, maybe you've written some things down, or some things are on paper, some things are in computer, it's kind of all over the place. You're probably not alone. You're probably in the right place. This is what a lot of trading strategies look like for many, many traders, even new traders, experienced traders. They kind of don't know exactly what their strategy is. And so if I really asked you, I said, like, seriously, tell me, what is your trading strategy? This probably would have been my response a couple of years ago, which is like, all right, listen, I'm gonna throw a lot at you. It's all connected. I know how it works in my mind. But you kind of maybe look a little crazy or feel a little crazy going through this when you're trying to explain how you trade or what you do or how you kind of go through your process. And again, that's totally normal. That's where everyone usually starts. And so where I start this is this concept that I've presented on again a number of times, which is this idea of the mind being an important component of trading. You can say that one half of trading is the mind. And I classified the mind as market intelligence and nuanced decisions. This is the logical, rational, strategic side of trading. This is the most important side of trading for traders, and I don't want to touch this side of trading. I think that this is the side that you should focus all of your attention and effort on. It should be your main focus as a trader. You should elevate yourself out of the mundane activities of placing trades and doing things, because your most important activity as a trader is to use your mind. This is where you get a sense of the markets, you choose strategy, you choose allocations, you choose tickers, you choose everything. This is where it happens. It happens in the mind. You make all your little nuanced decisions about what you like and what you don't like about trading or a particular strategy or whatever the case is. This is great. We don't want to change this. In fact, we want to make this better. We want to keep more of our attention and time on this. The problem becomes, as a trader, when you take your now solidified in your mind strategy, this idea, this concept that you have of trading, even as crazy as it was before, and you try to now walk it over to the other side of your mind, to the side that's actually going to execute the strategy, stay on top of things, remember to do things. You are now physically transporting that strategy to what I have called for a long time now, the fool. And the fool is the other side of your mind, the other side of trading psychology, if you will, that I classify as being frequently oblivious. We miss a ton of things, an overestimator, of course, and a luck seeker. This is the side of your brain that is inconsistent, brittle, susceptible side, right? This is the side that's easily tricked. It's the side that has all of the pitfalls of trading, all of the typical psychological downfalls, endowment effect, right? All of that stuff. This is on that side. And the problem with trading, and the reason I think a lot of traders don't make the quantum leap to trading and doing it for a long time, is because they've transitioned their beautiful, awesome, perfect strategy and they've given it to the fool for execution. The fool is now in charge of executing the strategy, of making sure that it religiously and consistently gets into the same trades with the same setup, right? Or meets the same criteria. It's not susceptible to market, forces or news or information. And the problem is that never works. And that never works because we are susceptible, because we are human, and we just can't do that consistently. So some of the things I've often said is like, this is what we look like when we give the perfectly beautiful trade to the fool side, right? This is that bad trade that you've still been holding on to and hope that it turns around, right? The bad entry where you're like, I just have this gut feeling and I just get into it. And then you knew later on that was probably a bad feeling, right? You kind of look like this. You don't really have a plan anymore. You've now given your entire trading strategy, all of it to the fool. And again, remember, the fool is very easily manipulated and deceived and susceptible. This is the side of our brain, our own brains, that we just can't actually, overcome, right? So here's a good analogy. If you look at this, or a good concept, but one person saying 4, the other person saying 3, right? It gets really confusing. Or if you've ever seen, back in the day, there was this video that was circulating of kids counting a basketball, right? And a professor, and I remember being in class a long time ago when this happened to me, and they said, count the number of times the basketball gets thrown, among these teenagers. And I counted all the times the basketball was thrown perfectly, but I missed literally the guy walking in front of the camera in a gorilla costume, right? I bet a lot of people have missed that too. If you've kind of watched that before, or you've seen it, you can Google it, it's out there, right? But this is the problem, is that in trading, we're so focused on our thing that we actually miss a lot of things. Or maybe we're focused on this thing, but it's the wrong thing to focus on, where we should have been trading the entire time, or we stop trading, or we start trading, or we adjust it midstream because now there's new information, right? Whatever the reason is, the fool now takes over with your trading strategy, and that beautiful, awesome trading strategy you used to have that was perfectly formed in your mind gets terribly executed by yourself. You layer on top of this, of course, that now you're not just trading the markets, you're trading supercomputers in the markets on the other side. This is not just somebody else on the other side whimsically trying to make a trade and trade the other side of what you're doing. No. You're battling supercomputers, hedge funds, algo shops, everything. So you got to be top of your game if you want to have the opportunity to even make some money or potentially gain an edge. So here's what I suggest. This is where I think that you could do things different. This is just my opinion on this. I'd love to know your comments on this. If you think this is right, wrong, whatever it is in the comment section, please let me know. I say you keep the mind. I think you keep the mind side. Again, this is the most important side. You need this to constantly give you a center of gravity, to give you a sound footing, a foundation, whatever you want to call it. This is your most important part as a trader. You can't forget this. But once you have your strategy in place, once you know what you want to do, don't give it to the fool anymore. Don't give it to the side that's going to just ruin it and run it into the ground. Now you need to give it to bots. And this is really the big difference. It's truly the reason why I personally started on this journey at Option Alpha, is because I knew that I was kept being as susceptible as I possibly was to my own trading and my own psychology and mindset. And I knew I needed something to actually execute my strategy even better than I was trying to do it. And so this is why bots are out there, because bots, in the way that I describe them, is a better options trading system. It's data-driven. It's the technical implementation side. And the way I think about it is that bots are going to listen to what you tell them to do. You're going to tell them, you're going to direct them and say, bot, do this and do that and do that, and this is how I want it done, and they're going to do it for you. And that's the only way you can actually make a real go with this as a trader, is when you actually release and give up that control from the fool and you give it over to bots. So what do I mean by this? I mean, use something that filters and surfaces trades. So for example, Trade Ideas, I just took this screenshot a couple minutes ago before I started hitting record on this video, at 9:50 in the morning. Literally 9:50 in the morning, or 10 o'clock in the morning right here. You can see it already had analyzed more than 5 million trades. That's 30 minutes in the day of the trading session, and it's analyzed 5 million trades already. There's no way we can do that as a human. It's just not possible. So you need to leverage bots and automations and technology to surface these trades. Put in all of your criteria, 5% expected value or more, ETFs only, 20 to 45 days, 100% reward to risk, 50% max profit or higher, right? You put in all of this into your automation system, your technology stack, whatever it is. And then what you do after that is you automate it. And that's the real difference, is take your strategy, take the thing you want to do, walk it over, not to the fool, walk it over to a bot for execution. And now the execution becomes the thing that is a source of strength for your trading, not your weakness. Because you could have the best strategy in the world, but if you give it over to the fool, I promise the fool is going to find a way to ruin that perfect strategy, right? So again, you're going to give your bots instructions. That's what bots are there for. They are your instruction. They're just going to follow your instructions, right? You tell it to do this, it's going to do it. Good, bad, or indifferent, but that's the beauty of it. It's going to actually execute your strategy. So another way you could do it, and this is the example I'll use today too. I'll show you, how I do it with my account. But I ran this back test. I even shared this in a video earlier in February where I back tested the strategy that was a 230 entry in SPX, right? And so all I was doing on this 0DTE strategy was entering right at about 2:30 in the afternoon, a 0DTE iron condor, 30 delta, $5 legs, that's it, right? And then I just back tested the strategy. I said, look, this is a strategy I want to run. Here's the back testing results of it. And now what I did is I literally went through and then clicked create bot. That's it. I said I found a strategy that I wanted to do. And then rather than me remembering every day at 2:30 to log in and enter a position and try to, get the trade on and find the legs and find the strikes and just make sure I was mentally prepared to do it. No, I let the bot take care of it for me. So then I created a bot. Now that bot follows my instructions and then can execute my strategy for me. So what I've done, again, is taken it from the mind. I've removed the fool from the equation and I've walked it over to bots and let bots make that execution for me. Now here's a look at that same bot that I started about 2 months ago now. I started it back in, I guess at the end of January, you can say. It started making its first couple trades. And since then, it's done pretty well. It's done okay, right? You're not going to go home and quit your job with $1,400. But overall, it's done exactly what I would kind of have expected it to do. And it's consistently made trades the entire time. And what I think is so powerful about this, not only the fact that it's entered 42 positions without my interference, it's just doing what it's doing, is that it's done this in the middle of a potential correction, market down move, whatever you want to call it, in stocks. So if you actually look at just a chart of the S&P, this is about somewhere in here, right? It's about February, January when I started this strategy, right? Literally near the market top, I started this 0DT strategy. And I didn't know at the time, you can go back and watch the video of me going through this strategy, right? I didn't know that we were going to go through a downward move. But what I do know is that even though it went through a downward move, it kept trading. And it's not important necessarily that it made money or lost money during the downward move. That doesn't actually matter. What matters is that I know for a fact that I, Kirk, would never have traded every single day through this move. I know I wouldn't have. I would have found a reason not to do it. It's this, it's that, it's tariffs, it's inflation, it's earnings, it's AI, it's whatever. You kind of make it up, right? That's where the fool, I know if the fool was in charge, like my side of the brain that was in charge of actual strategy and execution, I would have never done it. I know I would have missed days here. I would have missed opportunities. And I certainly wouldn't have been at the same place that I am now if I handed it off to the fool. And now because I've handed off to the bot, I'm in a place where I can let the bot take over control for me of the execution. It's not in charge of the strategy. I'm still in charge of the strategy. I tell it what to do and when to do it and when to run, and I'm always in charge of that. But what I've given up is the most important part, which is the execution of it to bots and automations, and I've removed the emotional baggage that I would have had as the fool. Just as another example, I've shown this many times before, but this is my monthly Iron Condor 3K portfolio. I've shown this a number of times on different videos. This is the second version because the other version was with another broker that we had to switch over, but both of them have been doing well. And again, you can see since I even started this version here, it's done really, really well without my interference. And that's really the point, is that even through this period right now where the market's gone down, it's still trading and still making trades. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to consistently and religiously trade. So it's made 99 trades under this version. I know for a fact there's definitely reasons that I would have had to not make those trades before. I would have walked my beautiful strategy that I had over to the other side of my brain, and then my fool would have taken over and said, you know what, we're not going to trade today, or the Fed, or this, or inauguration, or whatever the case. It doesn't matter. If I had given it to the fool, it wouldn't have been at the same place that it is right now. And so that's really the most important concept, is that you have to realize that all of trading is going from taking your strategy from the mind, which is really important. This is the side we want to keep. Make those nuanced decisions. Choose your position sizing. Choose your strategy. Choose what technicals you want to use or not. Whatever it is, your strategy. But once you're done, don't give it to the fool. Don't take your beautiful strategy that you've created, your back-tested strategy, your strategy that you know is going to work, that you really want to trade. Don't give it to the fool. Instead, give it to bots. Let bots take over. Let bots run your strategy, implement your strategy, and execute it, and you become the manager of those bots. That's really where the difference is in trading, is when you elevate yourself out of the day-to-day activity of actually entering and executing positions, and you become a true manager of your portfolio. So I hope this really helped out. I hope it was an important concept. Like I said at the beginning, this is not an April Fool's joke. It's actually really important. It's just kind of actually weird that I actually ended up publishing this today on April 1st. It was not pre-planned in advance. It's just something that came to me today, and I just wanted to make sure I got it out to you guys as soon as I could. So if you thought this was helpful, if you thought this was important for your trading journey, please share it with other traders or other people you know. Let me know in the comment section below. That'd be really helpful also, so I know it's important to you. And until next time, happy trading.